get online and be like, how to lose weight, what is keto diet, how to build muscle. Like, why would I spend $1,400 to get unlimited information?
Well, the same reason we do DoorDash.
I don't.
Well,
In rare occasions, I will,
not
but
you, but they wouldn't be who they are. Most people didn't. The convenience, because you can Google how what macros mean.
yeah. But this is in my this is my argument. If someone who prioritizes their health and fitness goals, why would they automatically go to buying the organic, grass fed, paying for a coach, paying for these training plans, paying for all this stuff? If to me, if you cared, you would do your own research and understand like, hey, like I need to start being more active. I need to start training. I need to start watching what I eat and making steps on their own versus not investing in their education, which is free, to learn the basics. Do you think people feel the need to pay to learn the basics?
Do I feel like they need to, or
Or
will they?
do you think that most people nowadays, whether it's information overload, they don't necessarily know where to start, whether it's they're lazy, do you think people would just rather pay you and be like, hey, like I'm new to fitness, I don't I don't know, I want to lose some weight, and they would just rather pay you whatever you charge?
They rather pay because number one, they're lazy, but number two, the same reason why, for example, with you, and I'm not talking about you,
Yeah,
but the average person, on top of your work and your life and everything you got going on, go back to school. Do you have the time to learn
yeah,
the basics? Even if it is basic, do you have the time? When we read it, it's basic, but you reading it from a perspective of it's really not basic. So
okay,
you receive it different than if I gave what is macros, what is this, what is progressive overload, blah 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 to somebody who knows nothing. They would probably be like, "What the fuck is this? Here, take $200. Just tell me what to do."
but do you think them pressing the easy button is them prioritizing their health?
It's hard to say. That's relative.
Because to
Are they
me,
not? They're choosing not to take the hardest route. Yeah,
because to
but
me, like fitness is part of my daily life, part of just who I am at this point. It's because I make it a priority. To me, it's important. To me, it was important to understand why I do the things I do. Like I was that kid in college that's during classes I was reading, during class I was reading, at night I was reading. Like I will say, like I did get to a point to where I read so much I didn't know what was right. So there is a point to where there is what is it called, like um, paralysis by analysis or whatever they call it. I mean, I do get that, and I do get that there is just so much information. Like you Google how to lose weight, and you get 1.5 million hits in a millisecond.
yeah,
So there is that.
I think that do they prioritize it? Who's to say what prioritizing it looks like?
That's also true.
You know,
And maybe they make enough money to where to them the convenience is worth the money to help them prioritize it in the way they know how or
right.
feel most comfortable.
I mean, because
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I mean, it you enjoy learning fitness because you're interested in it. I talk to a lot of people who like I don't give a shit about macros and protein and this and that. I just want to look good. You tell me what I need to do, and I don't have the time. So are they prioritizing their health? Maybe to them, spending the money on it is prioritizing it.
yeah.
Just like car insurance. That's really what I realized as a coach that that's what you become. You're like insurance for a lot of people. If you're not following the plan and you're not doing, I would say at least 90% adherence, then really your coach becomes just an insurance plan. I'm
Yeah,
gonna pay you so that when I do want to be on my shit, I got a reference, somebody I can. Okay, what do I do? And I know I'm not gonna do it. I have
Yeah.
clients. I have clients who I'm not going to say their names, but every week spot on, no deviations. And I have clients who it's more rare to see them do it than don't. And at that point, they pay me just to be there. So that when they do want to try to do right, okay, tell me what to do.
Do you encourage all your clients to educate themselves on macros and calories and like? I'm not a big advocate of like brown rice versus white rice. I just always eat white rice, but there is like some truth to the fiber content and things like that. Do you try to encourage all your clients to try to get a basic understanding of carbs in a Pop Tart's not the same as carbs from rice?
First of all, I try to encourage them to all ask as many questions as possible. Like, and some will, some won't.
Yeah.
But
And I think the ones who don't,
I'm
to
probably
me,
not following the plan.
or they don't necessarily care.
Yeah, they don't care.
They don't. Their health is not their priority.
Yeah.
It's
The look.
yeah. It's kind of I'm making an effort and I'm going to the gym and I'm somewhat following this plan.
Yeah.
To them, that's
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I encourage them to educate themselves, but like asking questions, and I try to sort of structure it in a way where it's they sort of have to learn, because I'm not gonna give you every little thing. I'm gonna do it in a way where you got the blueprint. You're gonna have to learn weight selection, and like so a drop set. This is somebody's program. I got 3 texts today. What's a triple drop set? Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Now this is a teaching moment. But the same with the diet. Yeah, you need to learn. Well, why is this sitting there? Okay,
Yeah.
well, this is what this is for. This timing and all that stuff. So, are they gonna go out and learn, educate themselves? Most probably not, because for most people, it's about looking good. If it was about health, we wouldn't do the fucking BBLs and all the shit we do.
And I guess just a lot of times you learn just by being in proximity to something. So like even if you never worked out in the gym and you just go start doing your own thing, you're going to learn by seeing other people do it. Same with like a diet. You may not know that's the diet you need to be eating or most optimum diet for your goal, but having someone tell you, it's like, oh, he's giving me these foods for a reason at these times for a reason. Even if they no longer want to coach, they are learning some basic information. To me, it's hard for me to say they prioritized their health when they're paying someone else to give them all their information.
Well, then I guess that would be my question would be to you: is do you feel like coaches are necessary?
Do I feel coaches are necessary?
If in your opinion, everybody who really prioritizes it will learn themselves, do you feel like coaches are necessary?
Well, like I said, I got myself in trouble by over information, and for the longest time, I had all this information that I had read, thinking that I knew what was best. When really and truly, it just took a little bit of someone saying, "Hey, why don't you try this? Give it a shot. It worked better." So I kind of set myself up for failure early on by doing that. So I mean, I think coaches are great. They have kind of most of them have narrowed down their specific type of way they like to utilize nutrition and training and things like that for specific people. And I think that experience is almost unmatched for just self education.
Yeah.
Now, because I will say, like, if I had hired a coach 7 or 8 years ago, maybe I would be way ahead of where I'm at today.
Right. Yeah, I think. Yeah, you also paying for that person's experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Not just their book education. It's I've seen this before.
Yep.
I've seen that before. I know what inflammation looks like. I know what why you might be bloated, as opposed to you just fucking winging it yourself.
It's like when I had LASIK done. Like I didn't go to someone straight out of school.
Right.
I went to someone who had
you got reps,
12, 15 years of experience doing LASIK surgery.
Right.
Because they're shooting a laser in my eye.
I mean, it's the trainer I am today is worlds of better than where I started, and 10 years I plan to be even more, experienced. So I feel like you paying for somebody who knows more than you. And it was this I don't know where the research came from, but it was talking about like why most Americans don't sleep. And it was like, well, when you work all day and you take care of your kids and you spend time with your spouse, and then when it's time to go to bed, that's finally where you can get some you time and do something you want to do, whether it's watch a show or
Yeah.
something. So then we end up not wanting to go to sleep because then we feel like all we do is work and sleep.
Yep.
How many people really have the time to sit down and Google and write down and learn and retain and then apply and
Yeah.
be consistent and then be patient enough to see it all through?
I will say there are probably plenty of people who could make time, but
100%.
but our phones,
Yeah.
TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, looking at whatever. I mean, that takes up a ton of time, and I'm guilty of it too.
Yeah.
But
I mean, 100%, we could all make more time.
yeah,
But for example, if I say I want to look like this, I could either wing it myself and take 3 years, or I can hire you and take a year and a half.
exactly.
So now you're paying for convenience and time.
Yeah,
And again, in my personal opinion, I would, if I hired somebody to coach me, I would learn more, learning, in my opinion, the right way than me. Golf is a prime example. I had a swing coach all through high school and college. If I didn't have a swing coach when I first started playing, I started playing at 4. I developed great habits because I was good, but I developed probably a lot of bad habits because I was teaching myself.
But do you think those learning on your own created a foundation that kind of made you the player you were?
Yeah, and I feel like that question can lead to, we can talk about, I think it's a good segue to talk about when to hire a coach.
Yeah.
Because I got the foundation. I learned my swing. I learned how to correct my swing. I learned how to, and within my swing, feel when I wasn't doing something right.
Yeah.
And then at some point when I no longer could correct myself, now it's time for a coach.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that people should do the work and learn the basics. Like you said, if I give you a meal plan and I say, hey, 9 ounces of ground turkey or chicken breast.
Yeah.
It's your job to go to Google, and Google is something as simple as protein in 1 ounce of chicken breast.
Yeah.
Now you know how much chicken breast you need because it's not the same.
Yep.
Then just reverse it with any protein at that point. So I try to do it in a way where yeah, you can learn. Somebody like Tyler is going to do it in a way where you're not going to learn because most of his people have already learned it.
Exactly. So I was going to say that to me, there's kind of like there's 2 points of when to hire a coach. If you're brand new and you don't feel comfortable, like for me, to me, knowledge is power. So I always wanted to learn, and I just desired to learn as much as I could, even though it was detrimental at a certain point. But I felt like that created.
That's just because you're a nerd, John.
I mean, yeah, we've established that, but I think it created a great foundation, even though it delayed my progression.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, I think someone who has built a foundation, whether it was, on the same pace as me or faster or slower or whatever, once they want to make where they're at to the next level. So I think there's 2 starting places. One who basically doesn't know anything and doesn't feel comfortable doing their own research and starting on their own, or someone who is like feels like they've tapped out their own knowledge and potential and they need someone else's opinion and experience to hone their ability and say, hey, like, great starting place, let's try this, see how you progress.
Yeah, I think that's why it's the same level with like trainers. Like my first maybe 3 years, all my clients were beginners. No matter the age group, beginner level and I'm in person, and then eventually I graduated myself to all my people don't need an in-person trainer. I just need the program.
Yeah.
So now I'm at a level now where I don't have to really hold their hand. They know what they're doing.
Yeah. Because you get a lot of people who are already in the gym.
Who sort of already look good.
Yeah.
And they want to get to the next level. So I think there's hire a trainer when I don't know my form is right. I'm nervous to go to the gym. I've never been. It's people out here. You'll be well. You're not surprised, but 40 years old that's never stepped foot in the gym,
Yeah.
and I'm always like fucking flat, especially when it's a guy.
Yeah.
Like you didn't play a sport or nothing, so I don't know anything about the gym. What is a curl? Then you hire a trainer.
Yeah.
You know, then you learn on your own. Then you go off on your own, make some progress, and then if you decide you want to do something, then you hire a coach.
Well, let's take that a little bit further. Let's say you have been in the gym, say, 2 years, and you're someone who is, say, mesomorph, for like you're neither lean or fat. You have built somewhat decent amount of muscle, but if we were to look at you, we'd believe that you probably don't work out or
Yeah.
don't work out that hard or don't really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Where, in their point, do you think they should hire a coach at that point? They've been in there 2 years.
I guess it's dependent upon their goals. Like, how far do you want to take? Is this fun for you? Is this something you really want to? I really want to look like this and accomplish this. And how far are they from it?
They just want to generally look better. Like maybe you lose a couple percent body fat, maybe gain 1 or 2 more pounds of muscle. Would you tell them, hey, like you're probably on the right track? Just make a couple tweaks and you probably get there.
I would say, yeah. I don't think that person needs a coach because the chance that they're gonna actually adhere to structure is probably it's a small chance. Because in my personal opinion, adhere to structure to do this and to do what you do, and you gotta really have like goals that are past just being average.
Yeah, I agree. Like I think that like you almost have to hire a coach that's coaching on the level that you want to achieve or
Right.
higher than you want to achieve.
Right.
So I couldn't just walk into some gym and see a coach or a personal trainer at eSporter, for an example, and be like, hey, like, man, I want to turn pro in bodybuilding. Can you help me get there?
Right. No.
No, they
Right.
can't, even if they think they can.
Right. You hire a coach when you're, in my personal opinion, when you're ready to be serious. It's when you're ready to be serious or when you know nothing at all.
Yeah.
All the people in between, because that's when you 12 reps of this. Oh, I stopped at 8 because I was just tired.
Yeah.
Okay, then you wasn't ready for a coach because you could bullshit by yourself.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then you have coaches who will take your money and watch you BS, and and then you have the ones who exactly.
Yeah.
So, and I'll be honest, I try not to because at the end of the day, I feel bad. I don't want to feel like I'm giving up on somebody. I have dropped 3 people, but they just,
Yeah.
not responsive.
Well, I think people also forget that even though, like, say I hired you, you are providing a service to me as a customer, and the customer is always right.
Yeah.
I'm a product of your success. So if I just say you prep me for a contest and I say, Sean, we're going to get me ready by June 1st. June 1st rolls around and I don't even look like I dieted. And I'm like, I'm getting on stage anyways.
Yeah.
And you encourage me not to. That's just going to make you look bad and discourage other people, potential clients, from wanting to hire you.
Right. I think that this is a different service than like a waiter.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to, whatever you want to eat, whatever you want to drink, not my business. Just please leave a tip.
Yeah.
And have a nice day. This is something that, yeah, you are the customer, but it's somebody who could be in your spot who will do the work.
Yeah.
And even if we're not talking about what's in it for me as far as a portfolio, but we're talking about who's going to do the work and somebody I can help. Because in the day, as a coach, you're supposed, like a teacher, you're supposed to be here to help people, help the kids, help people get in shape, help people be healthy. it's somebody who's going to take my information and take my knowledge and actually apply it and change your life while you sit here and BS.
So someone not like me who's going to tell you you're wrong and argue with you.
I mean, well, but see, you're not going to hire a trainer at the gym.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to hire a coach. And that's why I call trainer, coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
And don't waste that person's time, because I mean, I have people who I'll text them, hey, you know, it's Friday, how's the week going? Maybe this is week 1 of a new diet. You know, how did everything go? In my head, I'm like, I know you have fucking questions.
Yeah.
So you haven't texted me. Let me text you. You know?
Well, since we're kind of on the topic of maybe being a beginner or taking it to the next level, wasn't there a question about maybe beginners in the gym, like kind of do's and don'ts, or
so the question is anxiety in the gym for new gym goers
yeah, I think that's a good one.
and mistakes we made as beginners.
Okay. You want to start?
I will start with the anxiety.
Yeah, I think that's important because I think a lot of people experience this. Even seasoned people experience this. I think you have expressed to me a couple times, like, you don't like crowded gyms. You want to be in there by yourself, like in your zone. To me, I don't mind when it's crowded. I've never had that gym anxiety experience.
Yeah.
So to me, that's a realm that I'm not familiar with.
Yeah. I think for me, I have such high goals for myself, and some that might not even be attainable. But until I get there, which who knows, I might not ever feel like I'm there.
Yeah.
I have insecurities, you know, and it's like, I don't care what you see. I want that, and I'm right here.
Yeah.
So I'm shit. You know, I don't. So you might be small and frail and want to look like me. Well, I want to look like that guy. So I'm here working just as hard as you.
Yeah.
You know, and we might have different goals, but when you're in the gym and you're getting looked at and you get talked to and asked about fucking juice and like, because everything you deal with is like, and I'm already antisocial.
Yeah.
Like my normal, I've learned to be friendly and talk to people, but my natural habitat is I don't want to talk. You know, and not because I'm a dick, but because most people come up to me and they'll spark a conversation and then want me to lead the conversation. So you talk to me. Like, what's up? You know,
Yeah.
I'll sit here and talk to you for 10 minutes if I have to not be a dick. But if you don't have nothing to say, I'm gonna get back to my workout.
Do you think your insecurities lead to that anxious feeling?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, because I definitely have insecurities. That's one reason why I don't necessarily like wearing tank tops. I will occasionally, just to kind of, one, like, I'm proud of my physique. I've worked hard to achieve it. And two, I need to push myself outside of my comfort zone.
Right.
And so for whenever I do that, it's kind of like I don't want to, but I do it to. If you never do it, you're just never going to do it. So
right.
It's, I don't know.
You apply pressure to yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
I do that same. Like, if you watch my videos or if you knew me, you know, a long time ago, not long, but a while ago, I would never hoodie every day.
Yeah.
And as we start to do more and more content and more, it's like, you know what? Okay, I can't have a hoodie on every time. Let me fucking take my hoodie off. You know.
Well, everyone.
Because even though you take your hoodie off, he still has this habit of like tugging on his clothes to like cover himself.
Yeah.
It's so weird to him. Like, people think you look great. To him, he still has that. You know, he goes like, I'm like, you can't cover that. You're off. It's too big.
I don't enjoy attention. That's never been my thing. Of public speaking, and I mean, 3 years ago, this would have been a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
I would have been like, nah, you know, this is not my first time talking about a podcast. But every time before, it was like, man, I got to be on camera.
So what change do you think? Is it just like pushing your boundaries, or?
Yeah, pushing my boundaries, but I've been really fortunate for my business to, over the last couple of years, really grow and do better every year. And this is just all this is where all this shit is going.
Yeah.
You got to have a podcast. You got to have a t-shirt. You got to have a brand, you know, to really maximize the whole thing, you know. So just be a coach. I would love for somebody else to be the face and to
We got
talk to
Layla.
the people. Right.
She's
And
better looking than you anyway.
right. And I just sit here, yeah, and I just sit here and do the shit.
Yeah.
And then you send it to him, you talk to him, and yeah, you know, you be the one they DM and ask questions to, and I give you the answers. I would love that. I would love to never. I don't get cabin fever.
Yeah.
I could sit in this house and never fucking move and work out. I know you say you work out in the garage thing.
It is hard.
Maybe on a chest day or a shoulder day when it's quick and fun, and but when I gotta lock in on like legs or
Yeah.
back, and I know I'm a semi be in pain, I'm irritable. Because I'm irritable and I'm hurting, I don't feel like myself, and then I'm ready to go. You know, but if I was in the comfort of own garage, you know, okay, I don't know. I just would feel,
Yeah.
you know, I'm just very antisocial. You know, that's who I naturally am. People might not be able to tell, but a guy came up to me today at the gym and was, you know, yeah, man. And he was talking. He was like, most people in the gym are just dicks, man. So I always come
So
talk
like
to
you.
you. All right. So I always come talk to you, man, because you know you're so cool and nice, and I appreciate that. I appreciate him saying that. It did make me feel good.
Yeah.
It is reassurance to know that people can notice that I'm genuine. But with all that being said, I was ready for him to stop because he's a super fucking cool guy.
Yeah.
But he didn't realize that my anxiety was high
Yeah.
because he would talk and he would stop, and then it's a little bit. Now I'm forced to engage when I really don't have much to say. I'm just appreciative of.
Well, I think that's part of gym etiquette too. Like as a new beginner, I think a lot of people don't understand kind of some do's and don'ts. Like obviously, I want to encourage everyone to, if they feel like may have the answer, come up to me and ask me.
Right.
But the thing is, there's some respect to that too. Like obviously, we're in there to train. I find it disrespectful when someone comes up to you and asks a question and then they want to start telling you their whole life story. Like, man, I love that you're in here. Tell me your life story after.
Yeah.
I got shit to do in here. You kind of feel.
What would be your top, like just quickly for both of you, like top two don't and top two do? Or don't, let's just keep it at the don't.
Well,
Top two don't.
I think do's are good too because
Both.
cause like a don't would be like, don't come up to me and just hover over what I'm doing. Like I always have my earpods in.
AirPods.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But earbuds. Anyways, like if you want to ask me a question, approach me when I'm between sets and come up to me, face me, directly say something to me. I may have to pull out my earbud and say, hey, I didn't hear you. What was that? But to me, coming up to me directly is a major do because I'm not going to notice you otherwise. Like if you're just standing over my shoulder, I may keep going for I don't know how long before I realize you're there.
Is that your top two don't?
It's kind of do and don't. Like, you know, make sure I can acknowledge you that you're there and make sure you don't just stand there and hover because you may do that to someone who's going to take that the wrong way.
I had a.
What's your top don't and do?
Mine will be more general. It won't be about me, but do will be patient and trust the process. Like
That's a good one.
Because it just if muscle grew overnight, we would be monsters. So you just gotta be patient, man.
You are a monster.
But you just gotta be patient. The shit takes a long time.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that as a coach, that is probably the hardest thing to get people to accept. Not to know. It's like they know it, but the people who coach hop are the ones that are just trying to find a shortcut.
Yeah. And there's no shortcuts in muscle growth.
It literally just, you can take all the juice you want. You can eat what you want. You can train as much as you want. It just takes a long fucking time.
I had someone message me yesterday or the day before yesterday. They were like, "Hey, what supplements do you use?" And I was like, "I really don't use anything. Whey protein when I need something quick.
Yeah.
Every now and then I'll use EAAs." And I was like, "Other than that, I don't really use anything routinely." And he kind of expressed to me that he was training, I think, 6 days a week and doing some cardio and things like that. He's like, "Man, I just don't feel like I ever recover." And I was like, "Well, rest.
Yeah.
Rest is the number one supplement. Like you got to sleep and you got to make sure you're recovering, like whether that's food related or sleep related or whatever." But
That'll segue into my don't overtrain.
do you so as a beginner, do you think it's possible to really overtrain until you kind of learn proper technique and execution and what training to failure is?
You saying, do I think you can overtrain before that?
Yeah.
I do. I do because I did. I was 7 days a week, 3 hours twice a day.
Yeah, but how many people are doing that as a beginner?
When I was when we were basically saying when we were beginners, probably not many. But these days with social media, fitness is really taking off so
Okay.
much because of social media. All these young guys and girls, which is good,
Yeah.
are gym rats now, or bodybuilders, or aspiring. So how many are overtraining? When we go to the gym at night, these kids, they in there. We were wondering how the fuck are they still out this late? We weren't allowed when we was that age.
Yeah.
Because they're clearly 16 to 22. 21, 22, okay, but
Are they training hard?
it's on and off. The ironic part about it is when they're by themselves, yes. When they're in a group, no.
Yeah. And I kind of wonder how much of that kind of offsets itself from overtraining.
So when I was overtraining, I was by myself. I would lift at school. I would go in the morning, lift. I would lift during my strength class.
Yeah.
I would lift after school, before practice or after practice. It's funny, I had a barbell. My mom had bought me a barbell and 245 plates, like one aside, but the plates didn't go with the barbell. So the plates would like flap around because the hole was too big for the barbell. So the plates would be laying on their side when the barbell was on the ground until you pick it up. So I would overhead press with it, and I would, the big pillows that you have, I would stack up 3 of those and like roll the barbell up until I could like a bench press, and to the point where then when I had forearm tendonitis, this was maybe 5 years ago, it's 100% from high school of curling 135, but with, I'm sure, the shittiest form.
I mean, we see it on a regular basis, so.
And I'm sure that was me. Like I was stronger then than I am now. Like I squatted 600 plus pounds in high school.
Yeah.
No reps. Could I do that now? No, not now. Not 600. So yeah, you can definitely overtrain. Maybe 3 years before I met her, I was overtraining. Like I was at Workout Anytime by BP, 7 days, twice 2 days, or 3-4 hours at a time. Legs would be squats and leg press and leg extension, and then lunges, and then Bulgarians, and then leg curls, and then RDLs, and then hip thrusts. And I mean, my shit was 20 workouts long.
Yeah.
5-6 sets. I get done, man, I don't feel a pump here. Go back and do 5 sets, and I was recovering, and I was eating. I was on point with my food, and as soon as I realized, you know what, I'm doing too much, man.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna have to be patient because I can't overtrain science or outtrain science.
Yeah.
Science says it takes this long to build a pound of muscle, but I'm gonna do it half the time if I just do it twice a day. I fucking stopped. I went from 7 days to 6 days to 5 days, and the more and more I cut my days back, the bigger I got.
Yeah. I think people who are new to the gym and even seasoned lifters either don't know or they forget that you don't grow in the gym, you grow when you're outside the gym. So all the resting you do is when your body is healing itself, creating thicker muscle fibers, which gives you the appearance of more muscle. You
Yeah.
just your muscle fibers are just thicker.
I think that kind of goes into what the hiring the trainer, because that's when you start to, you know what I'm saying, when you start to realize or feel like the question is that I'm not recovering.
Yeah,
Why am I not recovering? Is it the supplements? Is it the food? Is it, you know, my sleep? It could be a lot of things.
And
That kind of, you
I didn't mean to
goes
cut
into
you
that.
off.
Because I mean, the internet is so it's oversaturated with information. Who do you listen to?
yep,
And how do you know that your body will, um, you know, everybody has a training style, right? So how do you know that your body fits that training style?
yeah,
How do you know your body will respond to that training style? You know, because I do think that there's certain people that maybe bodybuilding is, you know, it will never work out. But yeah.
I mean, I feel like how does this person specifically know he's not recovering? Does he know what not recovering even? What does that even mean?
yeah,
You know, are you sleepy because you don't go to sleep?
yeah,
So now you're not recovering? Well, no, you're just sleepy. You know, I mean, normally if you're not sleeping, you're probably not recovering.
yeah,
But what are you basing it off of?
yeah.
You know,
Maybe he's been stagnant for 6 months, or
yeah.
you
It
know,
doesn't mean you're not recovering. You could be training, half-ass training. You could not be eating right.
yeah.
You could be
Because theoretically, you are still recovering, just not optimally.
right.
You know,
And again, what does your training look like? A lot of times people ask you questions. It's so much more information you need.
yeah.
Like
And I try not to go down that path.
yeah. I try to help. It's like when you was in fucking grade school and it was like, um, which one of these don't fit, or it was like one of those where you know, it would give you a paragraph and then the four choices, the multiple choice, and then one of the choices was need more information.
Yeah,
You know, that's 90% of the time. Hey man, how do I do this?
yeah,
Well, what does this look like? What does that look like? How old are you?
yeah.
You know,
To me, there's so many variables to be able to answer the question accurately.
most questions.
Yeah, it's hard to just give.
Very basic.
It's easy to give basic to me.
It's not to me because I enjoy talking about it.
Yeah,
So it's like I want to just be like, man, just work hard.
and I enjoy it, but like I said, there's so many variables that take into account like what I would suggest someone do in their specific situation. It's you get paid to do that.
Yeah.
I work out because I like it,
Yeah.
you know, and I help people because I like it. And it's whenever I was in college, I wasn't a great squatter, but like squat was one of my better lifts, and I always told people that they needed to squat how I squatted because I was slightly ahead of most other people who squatted.
Yeah.
Well, as I started educating myself and realizing like, no, not everyone has the same mechanical advantages or disadvantages as me. Like I've got short, stocky legs. Like squats for me have just always been a natural movement. Well, someone who has the exact same legs, their femurs may be longer or shorter.
Right.
And so that changes their mechanical advantage, or maybe the way their tendons insert into their bones may be different than mine, and that changes their mechanical advantage. So I learned a long time ago that it's a lot easier and less frustrating to give someone general advice that will generally work for everyone. Like, oh, you don't feel like you're recovering? Well, maybe it's nutrition related. Maybe you need to rest more.
Yeah. I mean, I always, first of all, always start any advice with, in my opinion,
Yeah,
or this is how I feel.
we are not doctors.
Right. And and I always try to give a multitude of options. Like,
Yeah,
it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
yeah,
And you need to figure out, not, oh, it's this.
yeah. I think I said I would recommend this first, and if that doesn't really seem to help, maybe try this and then this. I think I
Try to
did give them
some stuff to look at.
Yeah,
Pay attention to these things, and maybe. But the next topic that I like to hop to is the fun question we had.
oh great.
The new guy Jen posing and recording in the gym.
Oh, that's not the one I thought you were going to ask.
Well,
Okay.
we'll get to that one. But how do you feel about that?
I honestly think it's great that this younger generation, to me, I find it that they're displaying confidence. And because me, I very rarely film my sets, and I very rarely pose in a mirror in the gym. Granted, I grew up in a different time period where I was kind of that wasn't appropriate or well received or things like that. But here we are in 2023. There's new generations, and honestly, I'm a little envious that I don't have that self confidence now at 32 as these 22-year-olds do or 18-year-olds do. Now, there's a caveat to that. When you're doing that in front of the barbell rack and you're taking up space where someone else is trying to utilize that equipment, or you're resting a phone on a piece of equipment that you're not using to film your set, that you, on something else you're doing, then that's when it interferes with someone else, and then that's when I think it's a negative thing. But I mean, with everything that's good, there's also a bad side of stuff. So while I think it's great, there are people who abuse that and take advantage of people who aren't going to say anything to you. But I do think people should be more considerate of where they place their cameras and who's in the background, and because not everyone wants to be seen on someone's video.
Right. I think my opinion is from a different perspective, but yes, it's good that social media is taking fitness and bodybuilding and all of it off. It's making it a more lucrative field to be in. It's just a lot of pros, but at the same time, normally the guys who are actually level headed and coming to the gym and working hard and really living the life, like somebody young who I could think of off the top of my head, Jacob. He's not in the gym posing. He's not in the gym with a tripod.
But if he did, what would you think if he did?
If he did, I wouldn't think anything less of him because I see that he does the work.
So it's for you. It's who's doing it.
It's who's doing it because, okay, for example, we go over to Wellington at night, or later. It's so many kids in there, and I mean, I'm really a big believer in, maybe because I was raised more so by my grandparents, but paying your dues, putting in the work, putting in the time, going through the process, and nowadays, in my personal opinion, too much you've been in the gym. Everybody's a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Everybody's, but you don't even have any muscle built, and you flexing, in the mirror between every set, and you're doing that so much that you're taking away from even working hard.
Yeah, I will agree with that.
Yeah.
There are people who do it too much, like record every set, flex in the mirror every set, ab check after every set. Like that stuff is frustrating to see.
And then when I see you actually working, you half-assing.
Yep.
And then you get done with your half-ass set of dumbbell presses, and
yeah,
it's like, and then you look at him, it's like you got ass because you're a frail kid.
You're 130 pounds,
right,
like
not because you jacked.
Yeah.
Or there's one kid over there, he curl, he flex his leg, then he curl, then he flex, and it's just like, go through the process, bro. Work hard, follow a meal plan.
Yeah.
Train hard, be consistent, make some progress, educate yourself, and then do all that shit.
Yeah.
Or if you're gonna do it all simultaneously, be a hard-working motherfucker. Like I said, Jacob is just one person that can come to mind. I know he's working hard.
Oh yeah.
He has his own techniques, but he's working hard, and he actually does compete. Fuck it, you want to pose?
Yeah.
But kid, you're 18, you just started. And because you see this person on social media, that person, and C-Bum and all these people, you a bodybuilder. You focus more on the outfit. You got the belt on from the moment you get out the car.
Yeah.
So you ain't even developing no core strength. No. You just belt on, flannel, over the size this, posing, but you half-ass working.
But what if they have 500,000 or 1 million followers on TikTok and they're doing it for their TikTok?
9 times out of 10, if you got 1 million followers on TikTok, you probably look good. And if you look good, you're probably working hard.
I will agree, but I'm just trying to play devil.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want people to think that I'm saying fuck these kids. And,
yeah.
And yeah,
But I will agree. I think you need to pay your dues. You need to build a foundation like we talked about earlier. There are ways to do that in a respectful way to others in a gym. And I think a lot of these younger kids, I don't want to call them kids, they're men, but they're seeing all these trends on TikTok and Instagram and seeing their favorite influencers and things like that, like C-Bum flexing in the gym. But I guarantee you 99% of his workouts, he's wearing his workout attire. He doesn't take his shirt off in the gym
Right.
and he doesn't flex in the gym
That shit is
between
strictly
every
for
set.
content.
It's strictly for content. I think that's where there's some misconception on what this younger generation is seeing. Like, those guys are serious about training. Yeah, they pose and create content. Well, they get paid to do that. Their
Right.
livelihood is dependent on content and creating revenue with supplement companies and things like that.
And it all is levels to it. Like, no, I don't have a million followers, but if I today didn't post anything else and just stopped posting
Yeah,
and just disappeared, I would go 45, 44, 40, 30. Eventually I would have no clients.
yeah,
So my livelihood is revolved around at least keeping some type of relevance
Yeah.
with my page. You know, she would have me to post fucking way more than I do. I just don't want to. I don't want the camera in my face 24/7. So when I am posting, it is strictly out of necessity.
yeah,
Get this set because I got to post something.
yeah,
You know, it's not because that's what I want to do. But again, I have to be fair and understand their influence, understand the time. But I don't know if it's the generation we're from or how I was raised. I was raised with getting my ass whooped. It's just where I come from. I'm gonna do the work.
yeah.
I'm gonna put the work and I'm gonna put the time. When I was
Work in
frail,
silence.
working, I think you should suffer and thrive in silence. In my
Yeah.
opinion, you know. And I'm not saying fucking suffer and commit suicide, but
Yeah.
like stop bitching all the time.
Yeah.
But
Don't be
also-
a sore loser and a sore winner.
don't be a sort. Yeah, and don't. But again, you know, it. If you look the part, it's probably because you're working hard.
Yeah.
And if you're working hard, by all means, fucking do your shit.
Yeah. And the people who are working hard aren't doing that every set.
That's what I started with. I just brought up Jacob.
Yeah.
I watch him train. If he takes his thing off, it's more so he can see what he's doing.
Yeah.
You know, and connect with the muscle. It's not to show off. And I never see him pose. Or every once in a while he might, you know, just which
Yeah.
we all do.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I'm not in the gym curling and then, you know, fucking
Yeah.
and then
Quad
another set,
stomping.
and then, you know, this is one I told you this one kid, man, he walks to the bathroom on the way back. This mirror, he check his forearm, then this mirror, you know, and then then he go do a set, half-ass set, and again, it's like if you replaced one of those poses every other set with another fucking rep,
Yeah.
you might actually look good. You know, that's the part that I have a problem
Yeah.
with.
I'm right there with you. Like even though I think it's great that these kids are more confident than I was whenever I was their age, I think a lot of them are crossing the line on being respectful to the other gym goers.
I just think our generation taught us more humility, you know, and it was more like you pay respect to your elders, and
Yeah.
people who come before you, and yeah, like these kids have a false sense of reality in their world, the way they brought up. All of them, the sun rises and sets on all of them, and they're all cool. They're all the shit. We came from an era where our parents and mom telling us, "Shut the fuck up, like you're not cool."
How many times did you get whooped with a belt or a switch or
Fucking whatever it was near? It wasn't determined. Or she would say, "Go get the belt." I go try to get the smallest belt. No, go
Yeah.
get the belt. You know, but we just come from a time where, like these kids today, that's why the mental health and everything. I'm not saying it's not important, but it's so big because all of them are raised. Oh, everything's about you.
Yeah.
The world's gonna rise and sun, rise and sets on you. Give you everything. Don't work for anything. And then when they get out into the real world and somebody tells them they're ugly,
Yeah.
now they need fucking therapy. And because this is the first time I'm hearing that I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
You know, so they have confidence because
And there's an award for everybody.
isn't it more, you
You're
know,
not working hard for anything.
Yeah.
I
There's a participation award, is this award, is this award. How do you teach them to work hard? How do you teach them how to win?
And that's why they feel entitled
And that's why
now.
they feel entitled now. So no matter where they go, it's like.
so is it confidence or is it more just a lack of humility and sense of maybe I don't want to see your naked body.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a mix. I'm sure there's kids out there that don't really know that they're taking up so much time doing that stuff or causing a distraction or getting in someone's way. And then there's some that's probably like, I don't give a fuck. Like, this is my time. I pay for a membership just like you. I want to use this gym however I see fit.
And that's cool. And you sort of right. You know, I guess the analogy could be
because I think our generation's the same way. Not all of us are, humble and kind of work in silence types. People our age, they're also flashy and feel like they need to prove something by wearing the latest jewelry, getting the newest iPhone. Like
yeah, and that's true. I think a good analogy would be like if you were playing basketball, at a high level, college, NBA, whatever, and you take the game serious. You worked your ass off to get to this point. Put a lot of time in, blood, sweat, and you out here playing fundamentals, and then you got this guy come up the court and he 2 headbands and that's,
Yeah.
he, doing and one and shit. I don't know what these fucking kids know and one is, but doing all that shit and
Probably not.
And the guys who really are actually good and have actually put in time and take this serious, I'd be looking at this guy like, man, get out the fucking court, dude.
Yeah.
It's sort of like that, we're here really training our ass off, really doing this, really living the life, and you're in here more so to take pictures than anything.
Yeah.
Go to fuck to Planet Fitness and take pictures. It's all for content. And that's cool, but that's just my thing. And it could be literally just my thing, and it is what it is. I own it, but I just want people to put the time in.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm right there with you.
Before you in people's fucking way. The guy today at the gym, he came in, he has his belt on again. I just have a hang up with the belt in the car. Like, come in, you warm up, get ready to do your shit. If you need your belt for curls, I guess. But throw your fucking belt on. But I mean, you come in, you got your belt on, you got your tripod, you got this, you're set up, you're in people's way, you take an hour to get your angle right. And if you took the belt off and the hoodie off and put the tripod away, nobody would even think you went to the gym.
Yeah. And I don't
timing, bro.
And I don't want anyone thinking that, just because they're, younger or new to the gym or, may not have as much muscle as a more advanced person who goes to the gym. Like if you were in the gym filming yourself every set, fucking off every set, like taking off your shirt and like I had the same opinion about you. I'd be like,
it's not an age thing.
Yeah.
It's not an age thing at all. It's you can tell who's influenced by social media.
Yeah. And even though you have a ton of muscle, I would still be like, man, that guy's a fucking douchebag.
It's yes, 100%. But then
probably more so than if I saw a skinny kid doing
right.
it.
But then it's more so I go back to the thing of, and you're 100% right, how many people that do have the package do that.
Yeah.
You don't see
I don't think we see that here, but I think in larger cities you probably would.
Probably in larger cities, but it's probably in a gym where everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's more normal.
That's where the etiquette part comes in. You don't go to a sport you don't go to a commercial gym like that and see people walking around with tank tops and slamming weights and all that kind of stuff and tripods everywhere. But you go to LA and you go to one of these big gyms and that's probably all you see.
Yeah.
So it's normal.
I mean, there's a gym in Louisville that is. I mean, there's a lot of people who film their stuff and train without shirts on. I mean, they don't have AC in the summer, so it does get hot. And I've trained there shirtless before, but I didn't walk in shirtless. Like I was almost finished getting shirtless, and I wasn't filming myself. I was just minding my own business. Like it is what it is. But
honestly, for me, it's the filming part is probably the least annoying. I don't really mind when you film because document your journey, bro.
Yeah, agreed.
That would actually make a cool ass video.
It'd be cool if I had stuff where whenever I first started.
Yeah, like I have a little bit I'll post it. You'll see sometimes I don't have a lot, but by all means, fucking record your journey and whatever you need to motivate you.
Yeah.
I'm always go back to the pay your dues. You got the oversized this and this and that, and you can tell that everything he's doing is I'm a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
But all right, eat this chicken breast and rice and broccoli. No, man, that's nasty. I'm going to Five Guys.
Do you think they're doing that for affirmation? Like they're wanting people to look at them, and because they get the looks, they feel like they're they're getting reassurance that they're doing something right.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. It's a false sense of reality.
Yeah,
And another big part about that I have issue with is it probably will hinder you from actually
yeah,
seeing your potential because nobody's saying, "Hey, man, no offense, but you have no muscle. Put your fucking shirt on, work hard,
yeah.
eat, sleep, train, blah blah blah, whatever." But
Well, why don't you go up to them and be like, hey, you want to come train with me someday?
because I don't want to train with them. If I wanted to, maybe. But all right. So current goals. What are your current goals for your whatever? You can talk physique, you can talk gym, you can talk life. What are your current goals right now?
um, well, fitness related, I don't really have anything specific. I recently started dieting just for general health reasons, like getting to the point to where my breathing is heavier, kind of interferes with my sleep a little bit. Just being
Where do you think
heavy,
that comes from?
just the sheer weight. Like um, I've been 250, 260 pounds on and off for the last several years, and kind of seems like whenever I approach in the 250s is kind of my set point to where I don't know if it's just fat on my throat or you know more weight on my chest or I'm not able to get as comfortable. But kind of once it starts getting to where my breathing's heavier, like I notice myself breathing heavy just sitting around or not being able to sleep as well, that's kind of like my cue for, hey, like, let's reel this back in a little bit, let's lose some weight, and go from there.
Um, my personal would be, well, I would say short term and long term. Short term would be just basic as keep adding muscle. Just go through the process of losing fat, adding muscle, losing fat. You obviously doing them separately, but just going through the process. But my long term would be Nick Walker. So yeah, I can't say that I would want to walk around 24/7 like that. I don't know how long I would live, but
Well, you're about
um,
5 inches taller than him.
yeah. So then I probably will live even less time. I don't know, but yeah, I just that's just my goal.
You just want to be a freak.
I want to be a freak, and
Why do you want to be a freak?
to be honest, that's a question that maybe a therapist would have to answer. Honestly,
Do you like the way that looks? Do you think?
I don't like how his cast look.
Well, that's the varicose veins.
I don't like that part. But if somebody told me right now, you can look like Nick Walker in the morning, but you have to take that with it, I'll take that with it.
Yeah.
But do I like how that looks? I do. When I watch his content, I don't like that he's in the mic the whole time. It's more so for me. It wouldn't bother me. It's like whatever. But I'm not single, so would it turn her off? I don't do it now. We'll see when we watch this video. You won't hear me, but
he's gonna be.
He's like calm and relaxed.
Yeah.
TV, and sometimes I turn around and I'm thinking he's sleeping, and it's just literally breathing.
But would it? The only time that I set boundaries for myself of okay, that might be too much is if I feel like she wouldn't be attracted to me. But as long as she's
she's obsessed, so.
So you're right.
But as long as she would be cool with it, and I can't do it by myself. Like, how many of these guys actually obtain that by themselves? Strictly cooking themselves and eating themselves.
Yeah.
If you get to a point where you gotta have some help.
Yeah. A lot of them have meal prep companies and
Exactly.
supplement companies, and they do it full time. Like, all they do is eat, sleep, and train.
Yeah. And if I'm being 100% transparent, I want to do this for the rest of my life, coach and own a gym or gyms and just be in that arena. And the more freakish I look, the easier it makes it. Nick Walker can probably really in this industry anything he wants. That's how he looks. But I do feel like that would be why do I want to look like that? That's why it would help business. And I think it's fucking dope. Like, just to be 300 plus pounds, 8% body fat.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just fucking dope. I don't understand when men today. When I have friends as guys who like, nah, man, I just want to lose weight. I don't want to put on. What man with a fucking dick wakes up and says, man, I'm cool being frail, or I'm cool being skinny fat.
Yeah.
I'm fucking 200 pounds, 30% body fat.
Well, I think that's some of that is this generational thing too, because like I don't know how true they are, but I've seen people post like average male genetic or average male testosterone today is so many points lower than it was 50 years ago, and just you see it. They don't have testosterone. Yeah.
I mean, I think that could be a part of it, but I just feel like I've always had the mentality of, as a guy, if we take it back to caveman days, it should be in my nature to want to be strong and to want to have muscle and to want to be manly and to want to protect and hunt, and hunt today would be work. And
provide
and be for me. I just want to be a fucking problem. Like, I want us to go out somewhere. We at the baseball game, all of us as a group, and they look at the group and they're just like, we just not gonna fuck with those guys.
Yeah.
Because they'll fucking eat us. Now, is it comfortable to walk around like that 24/7? Probably not. Because where I am today, is sometimes it'll be like, yeah, I'm fucking heavy standing here.
What do you weigh right now?
272, right? 270. No, 269.
And you're currently trying to grow.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So sometimes, like, and it's not as bad as it used to be, but there got to a point when I was up at like 278, where like if we would go to somewhere, if we stood too long, I need a seat.
Yeah.
Or I need to lean on something, And is that like, I mean, it's the truth, but like when I think about it, it's like, but is this annoying enough to not want to keep growing?
Yeah.
No. And some people will call me crazy. It might not. Bodybuilding and powerlifting are not healthy sports.
Yeah.
Like people might, like maybe it once was, but I mean, it's not a healthy sport anymore. Like, you sort of have to do things if you're going to be successful.
Yeah.
That are not what a doctor would tell you to go do.
Well, just being that heavy is hard on your heart, and raises blood pressure, and hard on your kidneys. I mean, there's so many negatives to being
a mass monster like that.
Heavy. Yeah. I mean, being fat heavy is one thing, but being muscular heavy is another thing.
Yeah.
So
they both have their cons, but you just look fucking great. So, but yeah. All right. Last thing, and we'll wrap it up for today. So the hot topic that I had like 20 DMs of people wanting to hear the perspective is, why are men not obsessed with women today?
And I did comment on this.
You did.
And I responded to you posting this, and I said that my perspective on history, I don't think men have ever been obsessed with women. I think because of gender roles for so long, it was just more of a mutual understanding that men provide. They ask or tell their wife, hey, like, take the kids to school, clean the house, cook dinner. Like, that was just the norm. And I don't think men were ever in the position to where they had to be obsessed with women. And then once women, wanted to start entering the workforce, which I think is great, I want everyone to be happy and feel validated and successful with their own right. I think once they started getting outside those gender roles, the man wasn't really telling them what to do anymore, or asking them what to do. And so there was this void that, whether it's conscious or self-conscious or not, I think it has been created, this void where the man is still not obsessed, because they never were, never had to be, and it slowly transitioned into this women power, like, we're, we don't need a man, like that type of mentality. And I think a lot of your comments was saying, like, why would a man be obsessed with something that they can so easily get anywhere, basically? And there's a lot of truth to that. Like, me as a single man, like, I don't necessarily want to date someone who just throws it all out there all the time. Like, Granted, would I be supportive of someone who wanted to do that? Yeah, absolutely. But there's also for me a tasteful way to do that, and I think a lot of girls don't do it tastefully because they want the maximum amount of attention, and there's no reason for me to be obsessed with someone who's seeking attention from everyone else on the planet.
Yeah. I mean, I think my answer would be two parts. It would be when the original question was from a girl who tweeted it, and it was, why men are no longer obsessed with women, and it's weird. And I think you can't say men aren't obsessed with women. Men aren't obsessed with sex, or you're saying men aren't obsessed with relationships. Because when you say a woman, what does that mean?
Yeah.
What about the woman? Just women in general. So I think men are always going to be, in my personal opinion, obsessed with sex, or maybe not obsessed, but desire sex.
Yeah.
But
I think people in general,
and traditionally men more than, even if it's a little bit more than women, but our sex drives are probably not as high these days. First of all, back to the testosterone thing, but men are less active. Men are shitty diets, and again, I have buddies who are not in the least bit of shape, and don't realize that definitely plays a factor in your sex drive and your performance.
Well,
And
for me as a single man, I'm worried to look at a female wrong, like
that part too.
Like make a glance at some chick in the gym, and
creep.
she deems me as a creep, and here I am, like didn't even know she was there, and she caught me in the background of a video.
Yeah.
I think the feminist movement took a weird spin because they do kind of promote this whole we don't need a man thing, but then now that the generation of men have started to feel like, well, then if you don't need me, I have no purpose, then why am I chasing this?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it's both. It's a lot of women's faults too. Like I wouldn't just put it on men aren't obsessed. I mean, you go back to the testosterone thing. Of course, all of those things do matter. But I do feel like um, women entering the workforce the way that we did, and all of the things is like they want to continue to climb this ladder, um, and pushing the men to feel like they have no purpose, anymore.
Yeah.
So then, I feel like it's a lot to do with that as well.
And I do think I see friends of mine who are obsessed. I don't want to use obsessed because I feel like that's a too strong of a word.
Obsession is okay if it should.
They truly care about their
partner, yeah.
And they would literally die for their partner.
I don't think that, again, it's are you talking sex or are you talking relationships? In my personal opinion, I don't think marriage and a relationship has always been something that a woman, in my opinion, desires more than a man. We want sex, they want security.
Yeah.
So, but all the double standards and all the requirements that women want, or they pick and choose from. I want this traditional style, but I want to be able to come and go as I please and do what I want and wear what I want, but I want you to pay all the bills and this and that. They pick and choose. All that shit is from back in the day when men worked and women stayed home because most families were having 3 to 4 plus kids, and that was the norm. And
do you think that type of relationship was perceived as obsessed though? Like a man is going to work to provide for his family, having kids with his wife, and staying.
No, it was just every generation has societal norms and what we do based on what society makes us feel like we have to do. And women at that time period, like my great grandmother, she's dead and gone, but the best job she could ever get was a bartender or a waitress or a secretary. So you got 3, 4, 5 plus, some families 10 kids. The wife can't go work.
Yeah,
that would be ridiculous. You have to stay home.
But what I was getting at do you think like when women today looking back on relationships then they see like this perfect family and the man is obsessed with his wife because he's going to work providing and things like that. Do we as men show those obsessive traits differently than what women show? I feel like women are more of like hands on. They need to touch you. They need to be around you. They need to be communicated with you. Whereas men is a little bit at least for me, I'm a little bit more distant. It's like I don't necessarily have to talk to you all the time. I don't have to be touching you all the time. I don't have to even have to be in the same room as you to feel like I'm getting quality time with you.
Well, I mean, that is sort of different. That's to each his own. I am like that. My love language is quality time. Like, and to me, quality time is we're doing the same thing, focus on the same thing, giving our energy to the same thing.
Okay.
It's not me watching this, you in the kitchen watching something else, but we in the same vicinity.
Yeah.
If you not if I could say something, oh, look at that, and you didn't hear me, you're not spending quality time.
Okay.
You're doing something else. But to my point is more the way it was at that time, it was that way because it had to be.
Yeah.
And a lot of these women today who talk about men back then and wanting that, if they really knew everything that came with, or if they took the time to realize that, no, you really don't.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll pay all the bills. I'll do this. I'll do that. You don't have a say so in what we do, where we go, what we buy, what we don't buy, where we live, when we move. You stay in the house all day and take care of. And again, taking care of 3 and 4 kids is a job. So daddy works in the Coles, mama stays at home and take care of 4 kids. And then daddy dies at 45, 50 years old because he worked in the Coles and slaved and worked 30 hours, and had another family on the other side of town and all the shit that went on at that time. Because I'm just speaking for myself, it's just in our nature that if most people, statistically speaking, in America today are not millionaires. Would you agree? Most people.
Say that again.
Most people statistically in America are not millionaires.
Yeah.
And don't make 6 figures.
Yeah.
Most people. So for the most people, man or woman, if you are providing everything and that woman just lives and does nothing financially, it's probably pennies are probably a little tight.
Yeah.
If you live in a decent life, so that man is probably gonna have a little different setup than somebody who's a millionaire.
Yeah.
Who you don't have to work. Well, that's easy. It's a millionaire giving you $100 is different than a guy who's broke giving you $100.
Yeah.
He fucking cares. He's willing to give you his last. It's this guy. That's toilet paper to him.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's definitely a double standard, but men were never, in my opinion, obsessed with marriage and relationships and all that stuff. But kids came with being in a relationship.
Yeah.
And when you have the kids, you have to provide. And I can go work in the Coles and make this money. You can be a secretary and make a third of that. That won't really even make a dent. You might as well stay home and take care of the kids.
And it almost seems like men and women both want relationships less and less every day.
Right. Because now women, it goes back to that. Back then, the woman sort of needed. You were raised to go find a man.
Yeah.
To take care of you. Nowadays, women can go get the same degree you can go get.
Yeah.
You get the same job you can go get, can get everything you can get.
Yeah.
So now that they don't need us, Chris Rock said it best, and Layla doesn't agree with it, but I agree with it. Women and dogs and children are loved unconditionally. Men are loved based on what we can provide. If you can't provide as a man, your value tanks. As a woman, it really don't matter what you offer. As long as you offering sex, there's some man that'll take you.
Well, I think that a lot of that's getting away in today.
And it's going away. And that's why the question, why are men obsessed?
Yeah.
It's not that we aren't obsessed. We're obsessed when it's the right person.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very obsessed. I do want to touch. I do want time. I don't want you to be obsessed. I'm just as touchy because I actually like you.
Yeah.
If your guy's not obsessed with you, he probably don't like you.
Is that why you let me touch you?
Yeah. It feels good. But yeah.
So great today.
So
Layla's cutting us off.
You cutting us off, Layla?
She said you guys had enough. John crossed the line.
Well, I mean, John, bedtime.
Yeah. I still gotta eat. Sean's gotta eat.
Guys, John goes to bed at 9:00 normally. He's a grandpa, so
9:17.
Yeah, to be exact.
Technically.
So, but he doesn't go in the bed until he sleep. So
yeah, the bed is meant for sleeping.
You want to zoom in on my meal? Meal number 5.
I don't think it'll zoom in because it's
oh man,
but,
chicken, rice, and pineapple.
Get your meals in, people, before you pose in the gym. That's all.
We're gonna have to figure out like an outro.
I was gonna say an intro and an outro would be great. I was just thinking that like maybe 20 minutes ago when
We could do it right now.
My
No.
friend was like, no, not right now.
I
I'm
don't.
saying like we could do the intro and then we could do the outro and then you just put it together.
I like how we don't have an intro.
Right.
I kind of like how you just started recording us.
So you
Chatting.
just wanted to come on.
Yeah,